Do you want it sideways?
That's what she said. That actually is a little bit better.
Please take your seats. School is now in session.
Welcome to Homeschooled Podcast.
Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
It's time to document the journey. Welcome back officially to Homeschool Podcast. It's officially started, and we appreciate you tuning in. We know you got a lot of options for podcasts out there, so it means the world to us. Just a quick reminder, if you're listening to this right now, this weekend, when this comes out, I'm in Austin, Texas right now, so you guys can catch me at the Romo Room. I'm there the 11th and 12th. So that's Friday and Saturday. There's only one show each day, so you got to make sure you grab tickets. And we're doing our best because I'm pretty sure there's like a pay-per-view UFC fight Saturday. I think it starts a little later though, so we'll have you out of there on time, and you'll be able to watch the fight, catch us too. But anyway, Friday and Saturday at the Romo Room in Austin, Texas, and you can get tickets at augustinocomedian.com. And it'll be on the bottom of this video. And the weekend after that, I'm in Paso Robles, California. There's two shows in one night. So it's June 19th. It's the day before Father's Day. And there's two shows. The 8 o'clock's already sold out, but the 10 o'clock is still available. And again, you can get tickets at augustinocomedian.com. And after that, I'm headed to Portland and Seattle, and I'll get you guys more info on that. Back to the show. Welcome back, Jose Sarduy. Hasn't been on in a couple of years, and we were just talking about, before we started, Flying Funny, which is a show that you came up with because you're one of the few comedians who can fly a plane.
Yep. I came up with the show because I was going to put everything together that I can do. I can host. I've hosted a show before. You were on that show too.
Yeah.
Stand Up and Deliver.
Right.
And obviously I'm a pilot and I'm a stand-up comedian. So I wanted to put it all together into one thing. And I wanted to have a comedian on because I'm hosting and I'm flying.
Yeah.
I can't be the funniest person on the show too. That's just a safety issue. So I wanted to bring a funny person on and record their reactions. And so I recorded 3 episodes. Well, I recorded 6 episodes, but we got 3 out of it that were complete. And I released them as a web series to kind of pitch it as a TV show.
That's a great idea, dude. I love it.
Yeah, and we were in the process of talks to get a pitch meeting and all that. Right.
Let me guess, before the pandemic started.
Hopefully, pandemic killed my show.
Killed everything, dude.
Yeah, but hopefully it'll be, I'll have a chance in the near future to do it and pitch it and try to get it on a network. I'm thinking Discovery. If you're out there, Discovery.
That would be perfect for Discovery.
It's just like comedians in cars getting coffee. We just replaced the cars with airplanes.
Yeah.
And the coffee with screaming.
And vomit bags.
And vomit bags. Yeah. You were pretty cool. You did my pilot episode that I basically recorded.
Pun intended.
When I didn't know what I was doing. Yeah. And you were essentially there to convince like anyone that would else be on the show.
Yeah.
Like to get you on video, and you did great.
Thanks, man.
So good.
Yeah,
I got such a long list of people that wanted to be on it, and then I also discovered who is really scared of flying in the stand-up comedy community. I was really impressed with who was like, "Oh no,
just straight up, I will not do that."
No,
wow,
Bill Burr.
He said, "No way, I'll do it."
I was like, "You're a helicopter pilot." He's like, "No, man, I'm straight and level. We don't go upside down, stuff like that."
Yeah,
right. I was pretty amazed at who gave me the no thank you. So, I asked Kira Sultanovich, and she was like, "I just peed a little. Don't ever say that out loud again."
Yeah, bro.
Like, okay.
She's Russian, dude. They only get in those little planes if they're ready to go attack or something.
They're escaping communism.
Well, I was a good guinea pig because I get crazy bad motion sickness. And I was terrified that I was going to throw up on you, me, the plane. And I'm super proud of myself that I didn't. Also, you're a good pilot. And we did go upside down. We did do some flips. And it was like a roller coaster. And it was smooth. And I didn't have to use my vomit bag. and I was super surprised I didn't throw up, dude. And every part of my being wanted to tell you no when you asked me, because I get motion sickness. You know what I mean? It's
Right.
like, I don't even care if you're a good flyer. I'm not talking about Delta Airlines. Like, if you, I fly every weekend. You know what I mean? This is way different. It's a 2-person airplane. That's what do you call it? What do you call it? What's the official name of the plane?
It was a decathlon.
Okay, but what's it called when it's like the guy in the front and the guy in the back? That style.
Oh, that's tandem seating.
Oh, I knew that. Just like tandem parking.
Right.
Yeah, man, it was cool. And what I mean, what those planes are pretty old, aren't they? Like from the 80s, 70s, would you say?
That one is from 77, so it's a good year. I was born that year.
Pretty cool airplane. I still have pictures. Just like, everything was like in mint condition still. That little like 70s brown leather seats.
Right. Well, I mean, you had motion sickness as a problem going into it. I took BT up. I don't know if you know comedian BT. And he was claustrophobic.
I actually am too, but it didn't bother me that day.
Yeah, he never told me until we landed.
Oh.
I was recording the interview. He's like, I didn't want to tell you this, but I was claustrophobic. I'm like, you what?
Yeah, you should have told me.
Like, that could have gone horribly wrong. But it was good. I'm hoping to get it on a channel and bigger budget, better airplanes, more cameras, get another airplane following us and doing video of it from like the outside and all that. So
yeah. As time goes on, more
that.
budget, and I'm glad I did it, dude. The big part of me that convinced myself to do it was just like, when are you ever going to have an opportunity like this again, and just do it. It's a great experience, and it was a lot of fun. I'm really glad that I did it. I hope that you do more, man. I hope that you do get those shots that you want, and you know.
Did you? I think it was you that talked to, or no? I think Nick Guerra did it, and the camera messed up, so we couldn't.
Nick did it.
We couldn't keep. We did it. He had like one of the best. Like at that point, we were like running on all cylinders, right? And so the pre-brief video was fantastic, and the post-brief, there were so many great punchlines, and his camera died.
Oh man,
We
it's just like
no video,
stand-up
no
comedy.
of him.
Just like stand-up comedy. Whenever the camera's rolling, you have the worst set, and then when the camera's not rolling, you have the best set.
Yeah, it was bad because we wanted to make his camera the primary, so we had the aircraft audio piped in to that camera. So we have nothing. We have nothing but the video of me and the outside cameras for the entire flight.
Oh man, that blows.
I couldn't use it. I couldn't make an episode out of it, and it was so disheartening to have that happen. But that's the nature of the beast, right? I mean, we were running on shoestring budget, so I was director, producer, host. I was doing the funding. I was the pilot, right? So I was a safety observer. I was doing all the things. My cameraman was the sound guy, was the editor, was the grip. I mean, it's just things fall through the cracks when you're doing that kind of guerrilla filmmaking,
right?
And that's what we got. I got 3 episodes out of 6 that we recorded. So
next time you start doing it, dude, we can get more hands on deck. Like, I know, like, one of my best friends has a production company. You know what I mean? Like, even if he wants to just come around for the day and just, he's really good with cameras and audio. Maybe even has some stuff that we can use. I'm sure he would just be like down to go for a ride and
yeah, I don't know. I think the necessary thing for a show like that is you need the backing of the network. Because the network has their own lawyers. They have a lot of, because we were limited in a lot of ways by the rules that a network can easily take care of.
Yeah.
Right. So we needed if we were going to film outside and use that footage, then we needed like a med tech there. So like we needed to, right, and we needed a permit from the airport to film anything that's not inside the airplane. And so it was like all of these things that a network takes care of.
Yeah.
And
Well, obviously with a network it'd be great, but yeah, if you can get some more episodes to pitch them, it'd be great. Because like the more episodes you have, the more you can show them how funny we can be in an airplane. Just like comedians in cars getting comedy. And you should really only have two jobs: hosting and not dying. Like those, there should be zero distractions from you flying that plane and just trying to, be a host to the guest. That should really be it. You should have like a director there to get the shots and like let's just point the camera here, let Jose talk and talk to the guy.
Yeah,
a lot of fun, dude.
That does a lot of aerial aviation. Yeah, so that show was pretty big experience for me, right? Doing my own show, and now we're getting back on the road, right? You just got back from Dubai, is that right?
Yeah, well, I've been working since February, dude. It was like Sacramento, Arizona, Vegas, Dubai, and then now Texas. Salt Lake City was last weekend. It's good to be working, man. It's really good. I've never been this busy since I've been a comic, and it's great.
That's great.
I'm not complaining. I'm a little sick of an airport. I'm sure you know. So this gives a nice little segue to go into what I wanted to talk to you about. And by the way, I always just hit people up and I go, "Hey, you want to do my podcast?" And then I left wing you. Like when you come on, I throw something at you that you're like, "I had no idea we were going to talk about this." I love doing that to people, and I'm about to do it to you.
Oh, good, Jose. Let's talk about euthanasia. Man, I'm not ready.
All right. So I wanted to get the point of view from an experienced pilot. Okay. Now humor me for a minute. I dabble in the conspiracy theory world. Okay. All right. I'm not going to talk about politics, nothing like that. Don't worry. Okay.
Right.
But one of my most recent theories, like I follow other conspiracy theories and then I have my own that like I add to it. I put my own stuff together. So one of the things that I've been talking about, I did a whole episode on it, is that you've heard about chemtrails for a really, really long time, right? Mm-hmm. Many years they were just brushed off as a conspiracy theory until like, the last couple of years they've kind of admitted, yeah, we're spraying shit in the air. So I've been seeing a lot of them more often. Okay, like in the last several months, you look up and you see something, and I just think it's funny that constantly whatever is happening in the world is hidden behind something nice so that we don't question it. Like I joke around about it, like, they're spraying shit and you look up and there's like a heart, you know what I mean? Or they'll be like, thank you to our healthcare workers, but they'll write something nice with it. But what are they spraying? So, so I've like made a point to talk about how I'm seeing more and more of it than I ever have, especially in the last several years. I haven't seen as much as I'm seeing now. I see it all the time. And whenever I see it, I will go like to my wife Jen. I'll be like, we're gonna have a weather change. Like all of a sudden it's gonna be cold when we're in a hot season, or all of a sudden it'll be hot when it's been cold. And I think that my theory is they're manipulating the weather. Who knows what they're really doing with it? Really, who knows what it is? I don't. It's just a theory. Hold on, humor me, okay? Humor my craziness. And so this is what I'm saying. What's going on? And now that I've said this for several months now, the last several months I've been traveling a ton, and I have never experienced so much and so often turbulence when I fly. So really quick before I continue, I'll take a quick break, and I'm going to ask you, what causes turbulence? It may be a dumb question, but some people, they may not know.
So turbulence is caused by several different things. So you can have the meeting of two different temperature air masses, or two air masses. So you're in between. If you look at how hot air rises and hot air and cold air descends, and when you look at the low pressure centers and the high pressure centers, they have a rotation to them. So high pressure centers and high temperatures are going up, and low pressure centers are going down. And there's a gradient where those two meet, those two air masses or those particular weather zones. And going through that, especially perpendicular through that gradient, that's where you're going to get a lot of the turbulence. You also get it on a smaller scale, right where different air masses meet. So a cold front moving in on a warm front, you get an occluded front. And so there's weather phenomenon that you can predict that you're going to get turbulence. And then there's the very small, like you can get turbulence from hot air rising from an area that's got very little condensation. So it's a weather phenomenon.
So if you're flying over an area that has hot air rising, it can cause turbulence.
Yeah, because you're coming from like an air mass that's basically still, or it's blowing in one direction, and then you hit an air mass that is not. So I got hot air rising versus, a more kind of stagnant air. So it's not circulating up or down. It's kind of in the middle there, and then you hit a pressure front or a new air mass. Like maybe you're going into like a thunderstorm. So underneath thunderstorm, a lot of hot air rising and descending, and so you're going to hit that gradient, and that's where a lot of the turbulence comes.
So it's
There's
obviously weather. It's always weather. It's hot air rising, wind, a storm.
Right.
Okay, so if I were to be correct that they're spraying shit to make weather worse and worse and worse. I mean, either way, they don't have to. Weather is weather. There's been turbulence since the beginning of air travel, right?
Well, that's the thing about the very best conspiracy theories, because you can't discount all of them because there are conspiracies.
Right.
People do conspire to do things.
Mm-hmm.
There are unwarranted beliefs in conspiracy theories, and then there's conspiracy theories that are viable, right? And so you want to not be fooled by the ones that are not viable, right? Right?
Yeah.
There's actually been scientific work done on controlling weather. You can actually what they call seed clouds, and I forget what it's like silver something, but you can seed a cloud and have thunderstorms and stuff dissipate. You can also get more rainfall in an area by seeding clouds. It's it's not really a doable thing. It's really expensive. It's not a viable option for humanity yet, as far as we know. There may be.
Wait, what's not?
Maybe there's seeding clouds on a massive scale. They were going to do it for the Beijing Olympics years ago. Because the Chinese government didn't want bad weather during the Olympics, and so they wanted to seed the clouds to make sure there were no storms during all.
So there wouldn't be rain during the Olympics, right?
Right, and they couldn't get it to work.
How long ago was that? Do you think?
I forgot when Beijing was. I think is that when Phelps won all his medals, but it was a while back.
Oh gosh, I was a teenager.
Yeah, so these are ideas that have already been shown that, that's possible. That's something that could happen. We actually have hurricane hunters. So we have airplanes that fly into hurricanes, and they have very sensitive testing equipment on the airplanes, and they're flying in a hurricane. And this equipment, and it's obviously very, very bumpy, but we know a lot about clouds and how to manipulate clouds. It's just to get it to work is such a massive scale to affect weather patterns that it's essentially only possible if all humanity is involved. And that's why, global warming and all that is the best theory for what we see in the changing climate, is because it takes the whole planet. It takes the whole human race.
It's not the United States government. It's all governments. It's
right.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for any particular organization to do it. It has been shown to be a viable option. It's just improbable that any particular organization could have done it and done it in secret in any way.
But one could do
where
it
people
on
wouldn't know.
their own jurisdiction. Let's just say, right? Like Beijing wanted to do it there only,
Yeah.
obviously. And it's like the same
Right.
thing with like landing on the moon. It's like, Russia was trying to get there first. We were trying to get there first. So everybody's got their own, science
Right.
going on. So it is very possible that someone could have figured out how to do it and not inform the other country that they're doing it, right?
Yeah, it is possible. And you have a history in China and Russia of not telling you, right? Or
Yeah.
giving you false information, right?
Right, exactly.
So they have a history of that. So you can't discount it. It's a
Mhm.
viable hypothesis. It's a viable conspiracy theory. But the chemtrails part, I mean, that is water vapor with jet fuel kind of stuck in it.
Yeah.
And the reason you can see it sometimes and you can't other times is how much water vapor is up there. Because airplanes are releasing that stuff every flight.
Right. But we
It's
don't
just
see it.
You don't see it because there's not a lot of water vapor up at that altitude. And so when you do see it, it's because there is.
You're only
it-
convincing me more that I'm right. Because it makes total sense for if there's one that they know is going to have so much that you'll be able to see it. They're like, it takes us this much to do what we want to do. So then everyone's going to be able to see it. So then they go, well, write something cool in the sky, guys. You know what I mean? like you're convincing me that I'm not wrong.
Well, the problem is how many people are involved.
Uh-huh.
And that's usually the death nail of most conspiracy theories is the sheer number of people that are involved and would have to be silenced for that information to not get out is improbable. I mean, you have regular Joes refueling airplanes. You have regular Joes driving the airplanes around. You have regular people working at the factories that take, the fossil fuels and process them to make it into jet fuel.
Yeah.
So there are hundreds of thousands of people involved from multiple countries in all of these processes. So for it to be something's in the gas, it's being released, right? There would have to be a lot of people that
Knew
are in
about
on
it.
and it's just not viable. It's
But
like
that
the
much
conspiracy
money
theories from the
would
government.
take a lot of people knowing about it. Like wanting something to happen that much. I mean, yeah, you're right. That's always what
Yes,
shuts it down.
but
It's just like,
remember, the
yeah.
more the person that leaks it gets a book deal. You know what I mean? It's just not viable that when you have that many people involved in a process that it's not going to get out.
It's like the
it's
moon
like
landing
it's like
thing. When people always go, we
Yeah.
didn't land on the moon. It's just like, well, that would mean that every astronaut, every person who built a spaceship, everyone that worked at NASA, every single person would have to have lied about it, including the other countries who would have to admit,
Russia,
yes, you
right.
went there. And we didn't.
Right.
We couldn't
Russia
figure out what you
would have
did.
had a great reason to say, you did not go. You did not see it. We were looking for you on our radars, and you did not show up.
Yeah, we didn't see you. Well, you didn't see us because you weren't there. That's what I would have said.
Yeah.
Well, were you
Maybe you
there?
didn't see
No,
us.
that's why you didn't see us. We were the only ones there.
Maybe you didn't see us because you were looking through all that cigarette smoke. Maybe you didn't smoke it much.
But what I've been noticing is
Stereotypes.
yeah, all that. You guys were drunk on vodka. I've been noticing every flight like bad turbulence, and I've been flying so much, and it's just, and I'm also putting that with like I've noticed so much more chemtrails, and I've noticed so much weather changes. Like I started thinking all of this when all the crazy weather started happening. Like Los Angeles had like one of the coldest winters ever. We got down to some really low numbers that we never really hit, and Texas had that crazy blizzard, right, at the same exact time. And then there was also a snowstorm, like I forget when. I think it was like in the spring in on the East Coast, and a buddy of mine who has a house there had to like fly back because all his windows like shattered. It was like a crazy storm, and this all happened at the same time, and it was around the time that I started seeing more and more chemtrails, and I go, I think they're manipulating the weather. And then I fly a lot now, and it's just so much turbulence. So would that cause turbulence? Like if they're I guess it would, right? If they're manipulating the weather, either heat rising or a storm, anything can cause turbulence.
It's for what you're talking about, that massive a scale. Having airliners fly over where you can see, they're called contrails, by the way, where you can see their contrails. That's not how we seed storm clouds. You actually have to fly into the storm clouds to seed the storm clouds.
Yeah, but you don't know what they're doing, bro. They didn't call you and tell you.
I'm telling you what I know is possible at this point.
Right. What you know is possible.
Yeah.
But like you said, there would have to be a lot of people involved, and they can't involve you because then you're going to come on my podcast and tell everybody. But
I've been on all those shows. I've been on I was on Decoded Area 51. And,
oh, really? Do people always? I never even thought about that. Do people always want to get you on because you're a pilot?
They do, and then they hate me when I'm on the show.
You're like, bro, you're not giving me any fun stuff.
Yeah, they show me the video from the Navy pilot took this video. What do you think? I'm like, it's probably a glitch. Did they turn it off and turn it back on?
Well, some of those videos you can always find where it looked really fake, and you're like, guys, you're making something out of nothing. Like, there's so many bad conspiracy theorists out there that the ones that could possibly be right, people don't even give them the time of day because there's so many bad ones.
I'll give you an example. I was on a show, and there was a guy who he's big into conspiracies. I don't think there was a theory he wouldn't believe. It was one of those dudes.
Okay.
And he always took it it could be the alien technology that they did in Area 51. He always found a way to do it. And he had this book from the Air Force Academy where I went to school. And it was wrapped in plastic because it was his evidence. And the book was called Chem-Trails.
Okay.
It was a chemistry book from the Air Force Academy.
Okay.
So if the real thing that comes off an airplane is a contrail, and you have a class at a military academy for airplanes, and that class is chemistry, chemtrails, right?
Okay.
Because there's the class book at the academy is called Contrails.
And he brought the book called Chem-Trails.
I had a chemistry book at the academy that was called Chem-Trails.
Okay.
They make one every couple of years.
Okay.
But it's because it's a chemistry book for chemistry.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
At the military academy.
It took me a minute.
That has a yearbook called Contrails, and they were it was a play on words.
It's a play on words. They were just combining chemistry and contrails and chemtrails.
Yeah.
And this guy thought it was evidence that chemtrails are real.
Yeah.
Oh, man. You gotta love that guy.
Yeah.
But I love people like that.
It was fun to do the show with because I was I would give my answer and then I would just be like, what is this guy going to say? I don't even know.
Yeah.
It was always a surprise.
He went home and took the plastic off and burned it. It's fucking stupid.
No, I told him that. I made no effect. Effect. That's the thing about hardened.
But I mean, chemtrails are real. It's just that book wasn't about that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a contrail is a chemtrail, but
technically, yeah.
Water is a chemical. If it's water vapor, it's a chemical. If it's, Jet A or 100 low lead, which is the.
But we don't know what they're really spraying, dude.
In airplanes, it comes out the back. I know about how engines work.
Yeah.
And I know how much fuel it burns. Mm-hmm. There's no place to put it. There's no place to put it to shoot it out of the airplane. Again, there may be a secret compartment, but you think Rashad from Boston, who's just like a luggage thrower, isn't going to find that secret compartment and tell people? Like the amount of people that have access to these airplanes, it's just not. It's not a viable.
But why do you think that that they would be putting it in like a commercial airplane?
Huh?
Why? Like the example you're giving, like Rashad who loads luggage. Like I'm not talking about a commercial airplane. I'm saying this is not. That's not what I see when I look up and I see there's something drawn in the sky. It's not a commercial airplane. It's a small plane. It's like a military plane. It almost looks like a jet. Like it looks like there's one person in it flying it. When you see those little planes up above, you know.
Oh, like the fighter aircraft and all that.
I wouldn't say a fighter aircraft, but it just looks like a small, like little jet or something. You know, that when you look up and you see they're riding something in the sky. What do you call it? Like a skyscraper or something like that. I don't know what you call it. It's not a big plane. It's not a passenger plane. It's something like this plane was brought up there to shoot this stuff out. You know?
Yeah, again, there's a lot of people involved in the military.
They're classified, dude.
These planes. Yeah, but I mean, I have a secret classification and I don't know nothing.
They ain't gonna tell you nothing, dude.
Yeah, but I have access to
or maybe you know absolutely everything and you cannot tell me. You're like, dude, I thought you just wanted to talk about comedy. Why am I?
Just telling you, it's improbable, most of them. But then there's some of them that, you know, there are conspiracy theories that turned out to be accurate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The conspiracy to basically manipulate data for the election in 2016 using the model from Obama's victory in 2008, 2012. The same people that were involved in 2016. And, you know, we see that you can have a conspiracy.
Yeah.
But those things tend to come out because you get enough people involved, it doesn't, you can't keep a lid on it.
Well, I mean, you need enough people involved to make it successful. Like, you know, the election, for example, you know, like there has to be that many people. You can't have like one guy driving around going mailbox to mailbox changing votes. You know what I mean? It's a data.
Right.
It's a data thing.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, I'm gonna hold on to my little conspiracies. They make me warm. It's good to like, man, they're doing something, dude.
Just hold on to the viable ones.
Yeah.
And then
you gotta watch it with those.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm.
The crazy ones are fun.
They're fun.
I do read about them, and I'm like,
but you can't. Yeah.
Thought this up.
You can't go around telling people that it's real because then,
but if it's viable,
you lost all credibility. You know.
Right. You gotta say, I don't believe it, but here's the thing. You know, I remember I had a bus driver here at work who showed me a video because, you know, Sandy Hook was a false flag. He showed me a video and I was like, where did you get it? And he's like, what? Where did you get the video? Because I'd already gone through. I'd seen this particular one and I went down the rabbit hole to see how people got the idea. And it was just dumb stacked on top of dumb. Right?
There are a lot of videos that are just like, you guys are, you know what's funny is that there might be a real conspiracy right in front of their face and they're missing it and they're going like, bro, that was,
they're missing it.
Did you see that bird that flew? Yeah. You see that drone? No.
Why is that guy walking? There's a, why is that dude walking in the video? There's a shooting going on. I'm like,
yeah.
The video is from 7 hours later. You know, it's like it's
like that episode of The Office.
Break that down,
dude. In The Office, when he's like walking in New York and he thinks he sees Tina Fey, but then while he's chasing down Tina Fey, the Conan O'Brien, the real Conan O'Brien, walks by him and he misses him. It's like, you know, they're looking for stuff that's not there, that they might even be missing things that are, you know, right in front of their face. Yeah, just fun. Right. One of my fun, to me, this is a fun one, and I wanted it to be true. It was a conspiracy last year, and I went on a few conspiracy podcasts and talked about it. And they asked me like, "What's your favorite one?" This is like one of my favorite ones, and I'm sure it's not true, but I really wanted it to be true. Is that JFK Jr. was still alive? Did you hear that one last year?
Oh yeah, no, I had not heard that one.
Oh, you didn't hear that one? Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun one. I mean,
instrument flying is hard if you're not trained. I think really.
That's right. He died in the airplane, right?
Well, he went into the weather. It's a lot like what happened to Kobe, right?
Yeah.
There was the pressure on the helicopter pilot to go, even though the weather was not conducive to what he did, and he still went. And it's easy to get disoriented, helicopter more so than what JFK Jr. was flying. But in general, it's just a simple human error. I'm an aircraft accident investigator, so 99% of all accidents at this point are human error.
Is that your call? So you're an accident. What did you say you are?
Aircraft accident investigator.
Okay, aircraft accident investigator. Obviously, you didn't go down in Calabasas, but that's what you're saying is that you figure he shouldn't have gone out. Pilot was like, "This weather's not good," and they were like, "No, let's go," and that's what happened to Kobe. That's what you're saying.
Well, you can see from the interviews that there was pressure to go because he had somewhere to go.
Yeah.
He needed to be somewhere, and I've been around pilots, especially the ones that are like on-call pilots for celebrities, and saying no is hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard to say no to a celebrity because they get mad, and there's a good chance you're going to be fired.
Yeah.
And they replace you with a pilot that will say yes. And so there is that pressure. And then the clouds are just too low for helicopter takeoff. So below minimum weather, and then the pressure of celebrity. So I kind of piece it together that I think that's what probably happened.
What would happen if the clouds are that low and a helicopter's trying to take off? Like why is that bad?
You can't see where you're going. And so if you have a ridge, like there was, you could clip the ridge, or you could just run smack into it if you're not, you have a lot of things going on at the same time. You're flying in the instruments, which is already difficult in a helicopter. So you're flying on instruments, you can't see outside, and then you have to adjust for terrain and all this stuff, and it's just easier when you can see it. And if you're not a pilot that's done that a lot, and let's say, you went out rushed, you got pressured into doing it.
Did they hit a ridge? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Because he couldn't see it. Did he clip it, or did he like ran into it?
No, they ran into it. Yeah.
Wow, they just ran right into it, and then boom. Wow, insane. Yeah. Have you ever flown a helicopter?
I did. I flew a Dolphin, which is a Coast Guard helicopter.
Oh, okay.
And ladies in boats will take off their shirts. That's what I learned.
And they flash you up in the helicopter?
When a Coast Guard helicopter flies by. Maybe not every time, but it happened to us.
So they do it on purpose, or are they already laying on their boat topless?
They saw us coming, and the pilot banked over them, and we just wanted them to wave. And then I was like, "Oh, well, that's better."
We just wanted them to wave. Yeah.
So we.
Hey, look at those buoys down there. Those aren't buoys. Stupid. So dumb.
There's salt water involved. So I could fly straight. Mm-hmm. I understand the dynamics of it. Yeah. It's going to be ugly, but I could fly straight. But landing and taking off, he just gave it to me like hovering over the runway, and he's like, "All right, try to keep it on this one spot." And I was just like, I can't stop. I can't. What's happening? I can't.
Really? It's that different than a plane.
Yeah, it's very weird to a fixed wing pilot like myself.
Two different licenses.
I understand. It's the same pilot license, but it's a different rating. So you have to get rated as a helicopter pilot.
Obviously, take the courses to fly a helicopter if you don't know how.
Yeah.
Crazy, man. Okay, last airplane question. Just because I saw this once and I always wondered if it was true. that I once saw. This is not a conspiracy; it's just an educational question. Um, someone, I think it was a video I saw online that because of the way that the gravitational pull, pilots actually aim for a different destination and end up on the one that they're supposed to go to. Like, for example, if you're flying from California, say, to Boston, Massachusetts, or no, let's say to Florida, you'll aim for like Boston, Massachusetts, and because of the gravitational pull that you actually land at Florida. Is that a lie, or is not? It's not really how it's done.
It's not gravity. I mean, you take gravity into account, but you do take the rotating Earth into account. So, if you are going west, for instance, the wind patterns in the United States and the high level winds are generally west to east, and so it takes you longer to get somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though the airplane's flying the same speed, but if the winds are pushing you a certain way, you have to. You're going to be like if I'm flying to Florida, but the winds are from the north so aggressive that I have to basically put my nose towards Boston to fly straight to Florida. That's feasible.
Oh, so that's true.
Yeah, I wouldn't. The angle is aggressive, but maybe like you're pointing at Atlanta.
Yeah, just to give you the
Miami.
example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, so it is true. It's just, and then the pilot makes that call as he's going, depending on how hard the winds are.
Well, you get a good weather briefing before you take off, but then there's a lot of dynamic weather information materials that you can get in flight, and even more now with like Wi-Fi and satellite technology and stuff.
What's the furthest you've flown? From where to where?
Took off in Seattle area, and then we landed in South Korea.
Wow, how long was that flight?
I can't remember. I think it was 13 hours, 14 hours.
And you flew the whole way?
Well, there's
two of you.
Pilots.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What kind of plane was that? Was that for the military?
Yeah, it was my MELD cargo plane. We were taking George Bush to Beijing.
Really?
Yeah. So I was part of the convoy. I had some of the Secret Service guys.
George W. I'm assuming.
George W. Yeah.
So you were flying a cargo plane, and the president takes the cargo plane?
In high school. No, I took it. There was a bunch of planes involved. So he flies Air Force One, obviously.
Oh, I see. I thought he was on your aircraft. I was like, why was he in the cargo?
No. Yeah.
So you fly like around him?
Yeah.
Or guide him in?
No, it's all part of the. It's not a convoy in formation. A lot of it was his trip is very visual.
Mm-hmm.
So we pre-position.
Oh, I lost you.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah. Amber alert. Sorry, everybody.
Sorry, you
got me again?
Yeah, I got you. So you position what?
So we pre-position
Mm-hmm.
so that everything's in place so that when he gets to Beijing, everything's already ready.
I see. It sounds like a fun 13 hours.
Yeah, we had some Secret Service guys. I wrote a joke about it. Some of the stories you hear from the Secret Service guys, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Do you have any shows coming up where people can see you?
Yeah, I'm in. When are you releasing this?
This will be out by this weekend.
Okay, good. I gotta check. Is 18/19? Is that next weekend?
Yeah, that's Father's Day weekend. The Friday and Saturday before Father's Day.
Yeah, so I'm at Laughs in Tucson.
Cool.
I think it's 8:30 show or 8 o'clock show on Friday, and then 8 and 10 or 10:30 on Saturday.
JoseSarduy.com.
Yep, JoseSarduy.com, and then I think after that I'm doing a show in New Jersey in Pittman, New Jersey. I think July 8th, and then I think the next show after that is I'm on my first Carnival cruise.
Oh, okay.
After the cruise ships have been down for so
Yeah.
long, I'm doing a week, two cruises at the end of August on the Carnival Breeze out of Galveston.
All right. Well, hey, listen, everybody. Tucson, Arizona, and New Jersey. You guys go to josesarduy.com and you can hear some of those bits about the Secret Service. That's the only way you got to see it. You want to hear the stories, guys? Go out and watch the show, support live comedy. And don't forget that this weekend I'm in Austin, Texas at the Romo Room. You can get tickets at augustinocomedian.com or homesschooledpod.com. Click on tour. And you can also click on merch and pick up some t-shirts to support the show. We have several different t-shirts from the Homeschooled podcast as well as for my tour this year, and show up to the gig and wearing a shirt. We really appreciate it. All the money for merch goes to help pay for myself and my openers travel, so it really helps out. So homeschoolpod.com, click on tour or merch. Paso Robles, California, the first show sold out. You only got the late show left, so get on it. And then that's it, you guys. Dude, thank you so much for answering my silly questions, and
that was great.
I really appreciate your expertise. I just want to talk to you because you're a pilot, but you're obviously already knowledgeable on a lot of other stuff that I was thinking about. So, thank you.
I think it's great how they pronounce that city.
What city?
Paso Robles.
Oh, well, I don't know. Maybe they say it right. I say Paso Robles.
No, you say it like they say it. They say Paso Robles. It's a thing in this country that I think is pretty funny. That is actually an international thing. I didn't realize it was not just an American thing, but in the United States, it's pretty obvious, right? We have the Rio Grande here.
Yeah.
That is a mixing of two languages. It's either the Rio Grande or the Grand River. But Americans don't give a shit.
So what's Paso Robles supposed to be?
It's Robles Pass. Or Paso Robles.
Bro, you know white people took over Paso Robles a long time ago. They planted some grapes, made it a wine country.
Again, I thought that was just white people in America, but it's like other countries do it in their own languages.
They just mix stuff.
Like the French do it. They don't. It's like they don't care.
Yeah.
Just going on the road and discovering that about how people pronounce stuff has always been entertaining to me.
Yeah, just a combination of two languages, like Chem-Trails.
I like how you.
I love when a podcast ends full circle.
Nice. I like it.
All right, bro. Well, it was just good to see you and talk. I haven't talked to you in a really long time, man. So good to see you. And obviously, hit me up when you come back. And where are you stationed right now?
I'm down in Texas.
Okay, but not near Austin.
It's like, everything is Texas, so it's
everything's 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if you're feeling froggy and you're not working this weekend, you know where to find me.
Thanks. I'll be back in LA, so enjoy.
Thanks, dude.
Kick some butt out there, and I will see you soon, brother.
Thank you, man. I'll see you soon. You kick ass in Tucson, bro. Go ahead and log off so I can say bye to these people.
All right. See you, bro.
Peace, bro. Be safe. That was Jose Sarduy, guys. I love that guy. So good to see him. It was nice having somebody with a good head on his shoulders to keep me in my place. But you know what? I still believe what I believe. I don't give a fuck what he says. Guys, he's a funny comic. Great stories. Go check out Jose Sarduy whenever you can. Support live comedy. And I hope I see you this weekend in Austin, Texas. If not, Paso Robles the following weekend. And don't forget that I'm coming to Portland and Seattle in August. And I'll keep you guys. Well, I already have the dates. It's August 14th and 15th. Portland is 14th. Seattle is 15th. So I'll get you more details on where you can get tickets. It will be at homeschoolpod.com. Click on tour. But as far as times and all that, I'll get you guys more details. And that's it. Thank you for supporting the Homeschool podcast and for supporting my live comedy tour. The Only Love Can Save the World tour. I'm Augustino Zoida. This is Homeschool Podcast. See you guys next time. Peace. Homeschool Podcast. Homeschool.
The Homeschool Podcast. Why? Because he was homeschooled.
I don't want to do that.
No, okay.
I don't want to do that at all.